If you work with leaders and managers, then the executive suite is exactly what you need. If you want to land more executive coaching clients, increase the amount of money that they're actually happy to pay you, then please pay close attention to this video. And here's why. You're about to discover how to attract more executive clients. Clients who will willingly spend more time and more money with you. You'll discover how to differentiate from other coaches, making competitors irrelevant, and grow your executive coaching practice regardless of what other coaches are doing. You'll be able to demonstrate your value quickly and easily to managers and executives and leave them wanting more. My name is Martin Gibbons, and like you, I work with managers and executives pretty much every day. I find executives are busy and demanding and not easily convinced of anything. And I imagine you have a similar experience to me. I expect you may have tried a variety of personality reports already. And the problem with most personality reports is that they are general reports. They're not specifically designed for executive coaching, so you have to try and make them fit. They're also written in jargon. They use labels, they use special language, which makes them difficult to read, and busy executives find this frustrating. They do not want to go on a course to interpret their personality report. They just want to know what it says. Now, the chances are you have also invested a lot of time and effort in establishing your brand, your name. So you really don't want to confuse your clients by introducing another brand with your personality reports. Now, I've spoken with a lot of coaches over the years, and the challenges that they face are generally ubiquitous. It's things like getting new customers, that's always challenging. Keeping existing customers and getting more work from them, well, that's pretty tricky too. And of course, differentiating from other coaches is also a challenge. So although executive coaching is lucrative and growing as an industry, it does present its challenges, which is why when we were looking to design a product for executive coaches, we looked at all the issues. And I figured that if I could help coaches, people like you, get new clients, then we would sell a lot more reports. So we spent a lot of time thinking about this. How do we do that? In our research, we did come across the primary challenge that coaches face, which is simply how to get new clients. That's probably the biggest challenge that every executive coach faces. If you know how to get new clients really easily, if you can get them whenever you want them, then pretty much your problems are over. Well, what it all comes down to is that managers and executives are so busy that it's difficult to get their attention. Even when they know that you can help them, it's still difficult to get their attention or their time. Once you get them as clients, it's still difficult to keep their attention and their interests, as they have huge demands upon their time. Now, you probably know this, you've probably experienced this firsthand, but the implications are significant. Now, the first report that we designed when we were looking at all this for coaching executives, quite frankly, it was huge. And it had to be huge because executives have a very wide remit, and executive coaching can get you into all sorts of issues. So we had to cover all the things that affect an executive. But it was enormous. The report was simply unwieldy. And although I say it was packed full of great content, it simply just wasn't working as a device, as a tool. It was just simply too big. It overwhelmed clients and actually distracted them. And bearing in mind what our original problem was, which is executives don't have a lot of time. It's difficult to keep their attention because there's so many things pulling on it. So throwing this huge big report into the equation simply wasn't helping. Now, after a lot of conversations with a lot of coaches, we finally figured out what would work. And not only did we figure out a design for reports to use in executive coaching, we also figured out how to get new coaching clients and keep those clients coming back for more. And I think you'll really love what I'm going to show you there. We looked at all the key areas covered in most executive coaching experiences. We looked at what do managers do, and then instead of creating one big report, or worse still, a general personality report, we created a whole suite of reports, each one focused on a specific area that absolutely affects senior managers and executives. This helped not only get a client's attention in the first place, but to keep them focused. And this is what we call the Executive Suite. And here it is here. Now this is a suite of 12 personality reports, each one designed specifically for executive coaching. And if you have a quick look here, I won't go through them all in great detail, but we tackle all sorts of issues. So the first thing we look at is your management style. So personality has a huge impact on how you manage. And there is no one way to manage people or stuff or things. It's very much a personality-centric issue. And to be honest, each manager has to be true to themselves, true to their own personality. And one of the big problems that we see in executives and in managers is that they are trying to emulate another manager, possibly their mentor or someone who taught them. But if that person has a different personality, then it could be very, very difficult and very painful and unsuccessful. So it's understanding how their personality affects their management style and how to work with it and make it work for them and not fight against it. And then we cover, lots of basic things, decision making. Busy managers are making decisions all day, every day. Some have a lot more problems with this than others, and that report will really bring up where the issues might be so you can spot where the ball is likely to be dropped long before it's dropped. That's a huge thing to help executives with. Customer relationships. Every executive, every manager has a customer. It might be their boss, it might be an actual customer, but we all have customers, and they need to understand how they manage those relationships, how their personality plays out in that. Communications, probably the single biggest issue that every organisation sees as a problem is communication. And again, it's a personality issue. Your personality absolutely has a huge impact on how you communicate. Look at teams, look at leadership and managing other people. Well, it's another element of the management style. Hugely important and again, very misunderstood by most people. Looking at getting results, finance, even though it's not sexy, it's a big part of the job. We look at how they get on with their boss. How do they relate to their bosses, the executive, the board, selling and influencing? All executives, all senior managers are selling something. If not in the normal sense of the word, they're selling ideas or they're selling to their boss. There's always a customer somewhere, and ideas and influence are always having to be peddled by managers. And the more senior the manager, the more influence they need to create. Well, that's personality centric as well, and you can help them look at how they're doing that. Are they successful at influencing outcomes or not? The clue might sit in their personality. And of course, the whole motivation and stress, a huge issue because so many people are suffering from burnout and stress. And again, personality impacts that hugely. And it's not that some people get stressed and other people don't. It's a lot more nuanced, a lot more complex than that. And you will find difficulty with motivation. You will find stress across the personality spectrum with anybody. Any manager, any leader can suffer from stress and a lack of motivation. And then finally, the management of self. Of course, we all have to manage ourselves, but particularly executives and people in senior positions, they really have to be good at managing themselves. So as you can see, we really tap into here the really big fundamental issues that all senior managers and executives are dealing with day in, day out. If you're coaching executives already, then you probably recognize all of this as familiar. And as I say, we've seen it over many years. These are the big pieces. So this addresses, so as I say, this is the 12 personality reports designed specifically for executive coaching. Addresses one of the challenges of executive coaching, which is instead of getting them to open up a huge big report, we can deliver these in smaller pieces. So getting clients to open up and actually talk about stuff, well, that's another big issue. Particularly senior people, quite often they're very guarded and they don't really want to talk about stuff. And certain personality types really don't want to talk about themselves or stuff. And as a coach, that will be extremely difficult and extremely frustrating. Well, a personality report will get people to open up and talk about stuff, no matter who they are, that they never would previously. Now, the executive suite of reports will not only keep their attention, not only in the first place, but also get them to talk about things, as I say, that they normally never would. And that's where this tool becomes extremely powerful. It really is a lever to get things to open up in a way that would never normally happen in your coaching sessions. And that's when you get the real breakthroughs. That's when stuff really happens. As long as they clam up, when they keep it really tight and they're completely in control and nobody's letting anything out the bag, this is not going to be a successful coaching, at least not as successful as it could be. However, when you use the reports and you get people to start talking about stuff and stuff starts to open up, then you can expect some major breakthroughs. And if you make major breakthroughs, they make major breakthroughs, and they will want more of what you've got to offer. Now, here's exactly how the Executive Suite helps you. First thing you can do is you can actually use it to get your prospects' attention in the first place by offering them a personality report. Now, this is something you might not have considered at all, but bear with me because we did a lot of looking into this, a lot of research, and as we said earlier, managers are really busy and it's very difficult to get their attention. So one way of doing that is by offering, let's say you're having a conversation or a bit of a chat or a bit of exchange early on in the prospecting stage. Well, when you offer them something more substantial like a personality report, that gets their attention. And as long as you've got that attention, you have a chance of them taking action and doing something. The other thing to note here is that the personality report is tangible and of value. And it's a great way to move a prospect along your sales process. So this is why I recommend, and it is just a recommendation, you can take this advice or leave it alone if you like, but I do encourage you to actually offer your prospects, while they're still a prospect, a personality report as part of your initial taster session. Okay, so bear with me on this thought. Because what's happening here is, rather than going from, let's say, an initial phone call where they don't really know you and you don't know them, and your next step is, well, buy my coaching program, which is probably a reasonable chunk of money and a lot of commitment and time, and it might not even be the money, it's just the time and the, oh, am I sure, and all that sort of stuff. I don't really know you, are you any good at this? All those kind of questions, of course, that you always have to deal with. But when you move it to offering a taster session, so that's low commitment, that's suck it and see, that's not a big time commitment, a big emotional commitment, or a big financial commitment. That includes a personality report. Well, all of a sudden, that has just become a reasonable no-brainer. That's quite if they're even remotely interested, they're probably going to say, yeah, okay, well, let's give it a wee try. I'd like to see what my report says. Okay, so it's a small ask, a much smaller ask, and therefore it's much easier to sell. There's very little risk in that for your prospect. And as I say, the tangible report, well, they get to keep. And that makes it a significant sphere, because after the conversation, after the chat, after that's gone, they actually still have something. And it's tangible. And that makes a difference. Now, this simple approach really could more than double your conversion rates. This could move those conversations that just never come to anything to coming to something in a lot more larger numbers than they currently are. And I do believe this can really increase those conversions from those early tentative calls to actually people booking your services. Now, you should also be aware that, as I said, they will still have their report in their hands long after you've finished talking to them. And it is something that they keep and cherish. We have been doing this for over 20 years, and I'm pretty sure, in fact, you may even still have some personality reports that you did years ago still kept in a file and kept. It's not something you throw away lightly. It tends to linger, it tends to get kept, and occasionally it gets brought out again because people find themselves fascinating. There is nothing more fascinating than self. And therefore, it's a really powerful sales device in that sense. The report can have your branding on it, your contact details, so you're keeping your brand and your call to action in front of them, not just when you're on the call, but afterwards as well. Now, and here's another bonus, and this is something, again, we have witnessed over 20 years, and it happens all the time. people like to share their reports with colleagues. So it's a really powerful prospecting tool, because what happens, the human psychology is this: you read your own report and you go, that was really interesting. The next question you have is to your colleague, you need to see this. And then the next question you have is, I wonder what yours says. And that is where you start to get this avalanche effect, where the report is actually doing a lot of the selling for you. It's doing all that prospecting. If your prospect talks to their colleague and shows them the report, and the colleague says, oh, I want to get one of those, they're coming to you. And this is a huge breakthrough. How powerful a tool is that? Now, as I say, executives are busy. So you need to have something significant to stop them in their tracks and get their attention. As I say, offering a personality report as part of a taster session is a really great way to start building your relationships and getting them more comfortable with the idea of you coaching them. You see, and this absolutely pans out, and there's lots of research done on this, the more time they give you, the more chance you have of booking them as a client. And this is true of pretty much all sales scenarios, but you need to be able to get them to give you that time. And as I say, these guys are busy. These women are really, really busy. So you need to do something pretty special to be given that time. And the personality report will get you that audience and buy you time. Okay, here's how it works. It's really, really simple. You get your prospect or your client to actually complete the 5-minute personality questionnaire, which will be on a page on your website. It will also be in your colour scheme with your branding. So here's how it could look. You know, this is just an example here, but a small window like that, 300 by 320, on a page on your website, and you just do the questionnaire. It takes them 5 minutes, and it's all in your colours all the way through. And I say they're going to your website. Once you get the prospect on a call, so they do that, they register, you can ask them anything on the registration. When they complete the questionnaire, they have to also fill in a registration form, of course, and you can ask anything you like. So their name, their email, their telephone number, anything else you feel is relevant, you can ask that there. Now you've got that information. It's up to you to give them a call. And when you're on the call, that's really when you might want to send them the report. Okay, so and you want to have that chat about them on the call. So if you can get somebody to say, yeah, I'll do the thing, great, do the questionnaire, book a session with me, a wee taster session, I'll give you the report on that taster session, we'll go through it and we'll have a quick look at it. And you basically have a chat. And mostly what you're going to chat about is their report. And actually, mostly, they will probably do a lot of the chatting about what the report says, and you'll be asking them questions about, what do you think about that? Is that interesting? Oh, right, tell me about that. And they will just go, and the report will give them all the material they want to talk about. Now, as I say, we've got 12 report designs. You can simply use this as a framework for a 12-week program as well. Or, of course, you can just follow your own program and simply choose which reports you feel are most relevant. You've got complete control and flexibility, as the reports can be used as completely standalone or all together or in any order or any component of that. So again, another byproduct of the way it's been set out is if you're new to executive coaching, or maybe you're looking for something new and different to bring to executive coaching in addition to what you already do, then you already have here a 12-week program that is already all laid out for you. You would need to do almost zero preparation. You just need to say, here's a 12-week program. Every week you get another personality report, and we'll go through another key pillar and talk about another key aspect of senior management and executive life. It's really powerful. Now, another key feature in the reports are the People Maps personality gauges. Right, so each report design, saying there's 12 of them in the suite, actually contains a set of personality gauges like this. So here's 3 pairs here. Most of the reports will have twice as many as this here. Some of them have even more than that. And each report has a different set of gauges. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of gauges written by People Maps. Now, these are amazing. They're a real breakthrough in personality because they're really easy to understand. They're very plain. You don't need to interpret anything here. If you look at this first example here, someone who scores 80 for avoids emotional situation, this is clearly someone who very much wants to avoid emotional situations at work. And this is also someone who's scoring 24 has a pretty low awareness of other people's emotional state. Again, 73, this is someone who this statement is very true for. They stay on topic and unlikely to be diverted. And this statement is not that true for this person here because they only score 28 for naturally calms down volatile situations. That's not their 40. So that's how powerful the gauges are, and every gauge is a major talking point. And you will find your client will want to talk about some of their gauges scores at length. And it'll open up so many things to talk about. You'll be lucky to get off the phone and they'll just be booking, right, we need to talk more about this, I need to get into this some more, and they'll just book another session. That's no problem. Let's book it. You enjoyed the taster, let's book an actual session. Let's get started and we'll get you going. Now here's another idea for you, right? As I say, you have 12 report designs, so you can, as I say, use these as a 12-week program, each one talking about a different issue. Okay, so let's talk about pricing. I say this whole video here really is an information pack, so I want you to get as much information as you can about this product. Now you already know that similar products, other profiling products, cost anything from £30 to £300, but they don't quite provide what the PeopleMaps Executive Suite provides, and hopefully you've seen that already. They don't include white labelling as an option, and they usually are written in some sort of jargon, so it needs to be interpreted, which kind of means that executives and managers get frustrated because they don't really want to go in a course. That's not what interests them. They're just interested in what it says about them, not how it got there. So again, a really different approach from PeopleMaps here. The reports, as you see, are all in plain English. There is no jargon, and the conversation that you have with your client is not about what does that mean. It's, okay, that's interesting. What do we do with this information? That's where the interesting conversation should be had. Now, you're probably expecting that the PeopleMaps Executive Suite would cost a lot of money, and possibly only affordable to the gigantic coaches like Tony Robbins. However, you would be wrong on that one, because you can actually enjoy the Executive Suite of reports for as little as £10 each. And I know that sounds crazy, but if you become PeopleMaps Certified Coach for the Executive Suite, you can have them for as little as that. And this is the bit, again, I think you'll be absolutely amazed at, you don't even need to place a minimum order to get this wholesale discount rate. So again, with most profiling systems, to get any kind of discount, you've got to buy a gazillion credits and tie up a whole bunch of money to just get some discount. We thought that was a waste of your money, and it's crazy tying it all up. We want you to be busy and we want you to be making money, so we've taken a slightly different approach. So I say there is no minimum order for the reports. You simply just can get them at £10 each, and when we get on the phone and we'll have a quick chat, I'll explain all of that in much more detail and we'll answer all your questions. But that gives you a reasonable idea. If you think £10 is a bargain, which it absolutely is, then yeah, get on the call and I'll explain exactly how we do all that. And of course, you're protected by our money back guarantee. So for any reason at all, you're just not absolutely delighted with the Executive Suite, then simply just request a full refund, no questions asked, and your refund will be provided. It really is easy. There's no tie-in here, there's no lock-in, there's no contract. We only want you working with us as long as you are delighted, and as soon as you're not delighted for whatever reason, you will always be able to walk away. As we're so confident that you and your clients will absolutely love the Executive Suite, we're willing to provide this level of no quibble guarantee, even though we know it's completely wide open to be abused. So what we'd ask you to do is click the button below and let's have a quick chat so that we can actually show you your reports and explain, answer some of your questions, take you through a little bit about it. We just need a quick chat, won't take very long. And I say from there now, if you've already done the demo. If you've registered for a demo account and you've completed the personality questionnaire, then the only thing to do is let's have a quick chat. So just book the call. If you've not done that, then you need to go and do that. I should also mention, and I meant to mention this earlier on actually, but the online video training is also included. So we do provide full training for you to become a PeopleMap certified for the Executive Suite. Excuse me, and it's all delivered online. You can do it at a pace that suits you. It's not onerous. It's really quite easy going. It's not terribly time consuming. An hour or two would be more than enough to cover it, and all that's provided online as part of the overall deal. You see, we don't just want anybody using the Executive Suite. We won't allow that anymore. We don't need to have some kind of confidence that you know what you're doing, that you've some understanding of what PeopleMaps and how these reports work and all that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of responsibility comes with these reports, and we need to make sure that you understand that, and therefore that's why we provide the certified training, which I think you'll really enjoy. I think you'll find it absolutely fascinating. It covers not just the psychology and how to use the reports and the technology, the control room platform, all that sort of stuff, all the practical things, it's all covered. But we do also talk about how to grow your executive coaching business. We've been doing this a long time. We've worked with a lot of other people. We've got lots to say about this that could, and one idea here might be all that you need to really explode your own executive coaching business. So again, it's included in the training. I think you'll absolutely love it. So as I say, if you're looking for an incredibly accurate and detailed suite of personality reports for executive coaching specifically, remember, then I say just click one of those buttons below and let's get started. You get access to the full suite of reports, and it's up to you whether you use, I say, just one design or all the designs with your clients. You have complete control over that. Now, on our call, as I say, I will show you how to brand the reports and the questionnaires as your own and embed them, the personality questionnaire, on your own website. I'll take you through some simple things that are really important. I know white labelling is usually really important for a lot of the coaches I talk to, so I'll give you a quick look at how we do that. It's really easy. I think you'll be absolutely delighted by that. And that's it, essentially. So I say, if you haven't registered for the demo, then click the try it for free button. But if you have done that, and it's really just a case of looking at the system, looking at one of your own reports, which of course we'll give you for free so you can see what it says about you, then all you remains to do is book a very quick call with me. Let's have a quick chat. It really is pretty easy. There's no hard sale here, and we get a chance to actually answer your questions and make sure that we understand what you're really trying to do, and make sure the Executive Suite is exactly the right product for you. It might not be for whatever reason. Maybe you do some other slightly different, and we might recommend something else. We do have a vast range of products, but I say for executive coaching, there is nothing like it out there. It's in a whole league of its own, and I think you'll absolutely love it.